Hello students. I wanted to give you all a quick reminder that your first annotated bibliography is due this coming week. So it is due on titanium before class on the day that you have lab. So if you have a Tuesday lab, your first annotated bibliography is due this Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. And if you have the Thursday lab, your first annotated bibliography is due this Thursday at 3:30 p.m. So upload that to Titanium before class on that day. So I feel like I didn't explain this as well as I could have to all the labs. So I wanted to go over it again and let you know what I'm looking for in an annotated bibliography, maybe give you a few more examples, and then talk a little bit about the final paper that we'll be doing, just so that we're really clear and you can have this resource to look back onto again. So the first thing is our main topic, as I mentioned, is child attachment. We'll be using an adult attachment scale since we're surveying adults, and we're going to be looking at different variables of your interest in relation to child attachment. So let's say your interest is on divorce and how that affects children, or maybe parent discipline and how that affects children, or maybe the liking of teachers in kindergarten and how that affects child attachment. So think about this interest, how it might connect to child attachment, and either create a survey or find a survey that measures that and that we can use for our whole class-wide survey. So your annotated bibliographies are going to be about both these topics. The child attachment, you should get at least 1 or 2 articles about that so you understand that better. And then if your topic is religion or religiosity in children and how that affects religiosity and child attachment interact, you should find an article that has both of them in it. You might be able to do that, or find some articles about religiosity in children and see if you can find any connections in the articles. You might find things on socio-emotional learning and child attachment. You'll definitely find things on parent discipline and child attachment, divorce and child attachment, socioeconomic status and child attachment. So your annotated bibliographies will be on your topic as well as child attachment. And remember, we're using an adult attachment scale, so that is a limitation of the study that we're doing, is that we're asking adults and about their attachment with their current attachment with their mother figure, and using that as a reference point to how they might have been attached as a child. Alright, so I'll give you a quick example of an annotated bibliography, kind of what I'm looking at or looking for. So this is an example of an annotated bibliography. This is the one I showed in class. So your annotated bibliography may possibly be this short, like a paragraph, because you're supposed to be summarizing the most important parts of the article and the things that are most relevant to your paper. And so I want you to have a good summary. It could be kind of like this in bullet point format. It could be paragraph format, but definitely have the last couple lines talk about how it connects with your ideas of your paper and things like that. So your annotated bibliography at least will be about this long, and I would say at most about as long as this second one. This is on a big article, like big point in developmental psychology, and so this is about 2 pages, and I even included a figure in here from the article. So all of this are things that I've written about the article, summarizing the article. I use this bullet point format. You can use paragraph format. But if your annotated bibliography is going over 2 pages, you're probably not summarizing good enough. Unless you're using a handbook chapter, and then it's going to be really hard to summarize that because a handbook chapter is already a big summary of all the work in the field. So you might be only looking for specific things in that handbook chapter. You might only need a couple paragraphs from there. And in that case, then your annotated bibliography might be this short, or up to 2 pages long. So that's the length I'm looking for, in between a good detailed paragraph and 2 pages for these annotated bibliographies. It really depends on what you need to get from that article. And these will go into, you will use these annotated bibliographies for your introduction. So make sure that you have annotated bibliographies on child attachment, on your specific topic, and also on a survey if you would like to use a survey or find a survey to use with the class. So quickly about the survey, we'll be conducting the actual survey, and you'll take it out to your 3 adult friends or family members between weeks 5 and 7. So bring your surveys that you either create or you find to lab by week 5. So you might find one in a journal article, and you can use that journal article as one of your annotated bibliographies, or you can make a survey up yourself. Make sure it's in between 3 and 10 questions. And remember, we're surveying adults. So let's say if your interest is socio-emotional learning and child attachment, you might ask the adult that we're surveying, what kind of socio-emotional learning did you go through? Let's try to make it multiple choice questions though. So you might ask, when you were in preschool or when you were in kindergarten, did you have classes, did your teachers teach you about emotions and controlling your emotions, or controlling your thoughts and things like that? So any kind of socio-emotional learning kinds of questions. So make sure they're multiple choice between 3 and 10. Here is the scale or the survey that we're using of attachment. So this is asking about a mother or mother figure, so it can apply to everybody. And so these are the questions that will be asked. This is kind of the format that the questions will pop up online for student or for your friends and family members who are taking the survey. This is what they will see, these instructions and then the questions and the answers. So make a survey yourself from 3 to 10 questions, or find one in the literature and do an article summary about that. So when we settle on survey items, every participant, so all the friends and all the family members who take the survey, will all take all the items. So it's not only your friends and family members that will take your survey items. Everybody will take all the items. So just want to make that clear. So annotated bibliographies will go straight into your final paper, because hopefully they will become a large part of your intro, and I meant to say discussion section right there. So they'll be a big part of your introduction and discussion section. So your introduction section will largely be written by you alone on your own from these annotated bibliographies, and we might have some time during week 6 of lab, but it's the last thing on our agenda for that day, so we might not have time for that as well. So the introduction section will come largely from your annotated bibliographies and other sources that you find. Then the next thing we'll do is basically be looking to do the survey about that time, and then we will have the intro due on week 7 and work on the methods section together in lab. The methods section will then be due the next week, and then we will work on the results section together in lab, and this kind of continues as you can see in your schedule. So I wanted to give you that heads up to let you know about what to expect and to make sure it was clear to everybody. If you have any questions, if you wonder if an annotated bibliography is acceptable before you turn it in, feel free to email me and ask me. So thanks, I hope this helped.